What up, everyone? It's your boy, Satemangala, the Reverend of the Revolution. Welcome you to another edition of your Daily Revolution, the podcast that helps you to wake up, turn your brain on, and to prosper every single day in every part of your life. Today's topic, going to war is good. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I've been listening to these Navy SEAL books by Mark Devine, a book about the SEAL Team 6, Adam Brown, a book called Extreme Ownership, and I have the most deep admiration and honor for our fallen warriors, men and women of the military, for the work that they do. And so if you are one of those men and women listening to this, I honor you. Thank you. Thank you so much for the sacrifices you make and for you living your calling in life to protect us and to give us freedom here in the United States. What is this about going to war? What does that mean? Well, I'm not talking about necessarily war around the world. I'm talking about war in your own life. See, I grew up Christian, believing in Jesus Christ and God, going to church on Sundays, reading scripture, praying daily, worshiping. And there's the problem that comes to a Christian man. I cannot speak for a Christian man, but I know for a Christian man, a man who believes in God and believes in Christ, is that sometimes we take it so literal, we become soft. We think that being Christ-like means being soft, getting walked on. And I'm going to share with you a couple examples today where, if I had learned to go to war earlier, go to conflict, step on toes, and take a bold stand, my life definitely takes a different toll. Not that where I'm at is bad today, because everything's just been a lesson. There's no mistakes. There's no failure. There's just learning, living, loving, and growing. So I'm going to give you a couple stories here. I'm going to teach this principle, and I'm going to talk about how it applies to you. 2001, I really wanted to buy a car. Now, the voice inside of me said, hey, don't buy this car. But me being stubborn, I bought the car. Turns out that the transmission was already going. It was already bad. How did I know this? Because on the way home, it was a 45-minute drive home. And the moment I got off the freeway and then went, there was this hard shift. I'm like, dude, what's up? And I asked the man literally before I gave him the check for the car, is there anything wrong to your launch? He said, nope. 3 things were wrong with the car. Number 1, had a salvage title that I realized was really bad. Number 2, transmission was already bad. I sunk probably 12 grand into this car within a year, just kept pouring money because the man who sold me the car lied to me right to my face. So the frame's bad, the engine's bad, and then salvage title. I'm like, how does a man do this? Now, what's this really all about? Had I had the courage to go to war, not had this paradigm that, well, I'm just going to kind of tolerate it, I would have drove back down, given the guy his car back, asked for my money, and then taken this guy to court. Instead, what did I do? I paid an extra $12,000 out of my pocket for this car, which was a piece of garbage. I didn't have the courage to go to war. I didn't have the courage to go to conflict. Why? Because I'm like, well, I don't want to and I was weak. Brothers and sisters, you got to be willing to go to war. You got to be willing to go to conflict with people if they do you wrong, or even if you think. I would way rather go to conflict than have someone say, here's the facts. And then me say, oh, you know what? I'm off. Thank you. Let me apologize for that. Because I grew up the whole time thinking contention, and I got this confused. Contention is of the devil. Well, conflict's not contention. Conflict is saying, hey, wait a minute here. It's unworkable. You're doing me wrong. I'm not going to put up with this. Second story, same thing. Right? So I fly down to Florida in 2007, invest 7 figures worth of money, go to the man's offices, pulls up the accounts online, shows me everything. The numbers, the returns, it looks so good. I personally fly down and meet this man. Everything looks good on paper, but something inside of me was saying what? I call BS on him, call it. But no, I didn't have the courage to go to war. I didn't have the courage. I didn't have the balls to say, listen, I think you're bullshitting me. So what did I do? Trusted him with all the money, and in a matter of a few months, it all disappeared real fast. Duped. Totally duped. Kimberly, I'm like, What is it within me back then that was causing me to not want to go to conflict and not want to call? Oh, because I was more worried about not looking like a guy who would rock the boat, not looking like someone who was going to rock the boat and step on toes. Today, I'll rock the boat. I'll sink the boat. I'll step right up to people and say, dude, BS. I'll call them on it. So what changed? Because I had a paradigm before that said what? If you go to conflict, you're going to be a jerk and just trust people. Trust people. Prove to me first. So that's my second story, right? Dupe me once, yeah. Dupe me twice. Dupe me once, that's on you. Dupe me twice, that's on me. Third story, right? In the previous podcast is about my wife's car. Now, I'm literally walking into situations, looking at people, not afraid to call people on their garbage. Look, brothers and sisters, you got to understand this. You got to be willing to go to conflict. You got to be willing to go to war inside of everything that you do. You got to be willing to challenge and question when appropriate and sometimes when not appropriate. So let's take a look at this for your physicality. Most of you don't even go to war with your body. You're like, dude, the bare minimums. Bare minimums will get you bare minimum results. Is that what you want? You got to be willing to push your body, to push the capacity, to hit red lines sometimes. You got to be willing to do that. In spirituality, be willing to question. Be willing to be open. Don't be afraid. Don't just, well, they said it. Some old man who wrote these scriptures years ago said it. It must be true. Must be true. What if all you simply did was question and challenge? Like really challenge. The origins of the church that I belong to was created by a young man who went to war. Like he went to battle. He questioned. Are you willing to question what you believe to be true? Are you willing to just challenge it? Now, the third thing is in your spirituality. Now, in your relationships, are you willing to go to war? This is a tough one. I love that my wife has been willing to go to conflict with me. In our relationship, I'm kind of the gas and she's kind of the brake. I'm the gas pedal. I'm like, let's do this, let's do this. My wife's like, hold up. And I love that my wife has had the courage to just challenge me on sometimes. Sometimes she's like, no. And like, it will get heated and escalated, which is great. I love it. I love that we can go to war. Now, we don't go to war all the time. Some marriages kind of thrive on going to war and going to conflict. My goddess and I've given my wife full permission. And I let my boys know, you want to challenge daddy, you want to challenge, but you better be willing to really make a good argument for what you want and why it matters. And maybe I'm wrong. And maybe you've got to take a stand and help me see that. But this is in every relationship, every conversation. Are you willing to have a very straight up, honest, transparent conversation with people? Now, I don't do this with everyone. I mean, there's people I go to church with who are just like, hey, hi, bye. I kind of play the game. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. So I don't do this with everyone, but the people in my inner circle, the people that work with me, work for me, work around me, that I do business with, like I'm willing to call them to the carpet and tell them, are you? And let's take a look at your business. Brothers and sisters, you got to be willing to go to war. You got to be willing to go to conflict. Someone owes you money. If you don't think something's right, don't just accept things. Get the proof. Get the bottom line. Be willing to look dumb and say, I don't get this. Help me understand this. Help me see what I can't see here, because I can't see it. Brothers and sisters, I promise you, if you go to conflict, not with the end in mind to just be a jerk, but to get to the bottom line, to get to the truth. Powerful people, they aren't concerned with pleasing people. They're concerned with producing results. So if you're willing to go to conflict and to have really brutal conversations, straightforward, direct, no surface confusion, zigzagging, circular motion, surface conversation, but let's get to the bottom and let's call it what it is. Yay, or nay, nay. This will make a big difference for you. So brothers and sisters, what will you do? Are you still like getting walked on? Or will you have the brutal, straight up conversations? I know that if you have the brutal, straight up conversations, your life will change. It'll make a difference for you. Everything in your life will change if you're willing to go to war. You think about everything in this world, like people go to war literally to fight for what they want. Are you willing? Because if you are not willing, then you're going to continue to get what you get. And if that's what you want, cool. But for those of you who want something different, it's time to go to war. It's time to go to conflict. Are you willing? I took a bold stand for my life and what I wanted. No longer was I willing to put up with the way we lived, with the way I lived. After bankruptcy, after losing everything, every part of my life, from being grossly overweight, continuing to go to conflict and war with myself, with my inner mindset, going to war with where I was in business, going to war with people who I knew wanted to change, but I had to call them out. Even with my clients, I will call them out. Go to war. Go to conflict. This is your boy Satem Mangala reminding you, if you want to create a life of real radical results, a life that you truly love, it's going to require you to get into a relentless pursuit with a ruthless commitment to pay the piper every single day, so that you, my friend, can get to the top of the mountain where your prize, your promised land and possibilities are waiting, just waiting for you. The revolution has begun. I'm out. For more info on joining the revolution and living your greatest life of prosperity today, go to www.yourdailyrevolution.com and join us in waking up, turning your brain on, and prospering today.